Minaur prepared for absolute battle with Tiafoe at Australian Open. Melbourne, January 22nd. The Australian Open enters the third round on Friday as the world's top players battle for Grand Slam glory in Melbourne. Men's world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz will face Frenchman Corentin Moutet, while two-time Australian Open winner Aryna Sabalenka takes on Anastasia Potapova. Both Alex de Minaur and Frances Tiafoe have spent the last few years of their career as part of a chasing pack behind the world's top players, often threatening to break through but never quite managing to live up to their potential. On Friday, one of them will once again fall short in their bid to win a first Grand Slam title when they cross paths. De Minaur holds a 3-1 head-to-head advantage over the American and is relishing the challenge. He's playing well, got a lot of firepower. He's a veteran. We've had some battles in the past, de Minaur told reporters. I wouldn't expect anything other than an absolute battle against him. He seems to be locked in. In the women's draw, Russia's Diana Schneider will take on Ukraine's Elena Svitolina in a clash that comes amid renewed discussion of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. On Tuesday, Ukrainian player Alexandra Oleinikova called for Russian and Belarusian players to be banned from tennis. Players from the two nations compete as neutrals. Asked about Olenikova's comments, Schneider told reporters, "I haven't seen what statement she made, and I don't know what was her intention there. Me personally, I'm here just to play tennis, just do my job, show some great tennis, enjoy the crowd, enjoy the atmosphere." Svitolina, who has been outspoken in support of her home country since the invasion in 2022, said, "The war has been ongoing for 4 years. We talked about it many times. Right now what we can do is go out there, try to perform well, try to represent our country in the right way, to not forget that we can use our voices to bring help, to bring attention to our homeland." Gauff faces Baptiste in All-American clash. World number 3 Coco Gauff will face a familiar foe in the third round when she takes on fellow American Hailey Baptiste. "I'm really excited to play her. I have known her for so long. It's always great to see people you come up with do well on the tour and be able to face them in these big matches," Gauff said. "I don't even remember the first time I met her. I had to be like 10 or 11 years old, so it's just pretty cool." Gauff, 21, beat Baptiste 6-1 6-4 in Washington, D.C. in the pair's only previous encounter on the WTA Tour in 2023. Australian Open order of play on Friday. Order of play on the main show courts on the 6th day of the Australian Open. Prefix number denotes seeding. Rod Laver Arena. Day session, 0030 GMT, 11:30 AEDT. 1 Aryna Sabalenka, Belarus. The Anastasia Potapova, Austria. Day session, 0230 GMT, 13:30 AEDT. 1 Carlos Alcaraz, Spain. The 32 Corentin Moutet, France. Night session, 0800 GMT, 1900 AEDT. 29 Frances Tiafoe, US. The 6 Alex de Minaur, Australia. Elena Gabriela Ruse, Romania. The 8 Mira Andreeva, Russia. Margaret Court Arena. Day session, 0030 GMT, 11:30 AEDT. 11 Daniil Medvedev, Russia. The Fabian Marizan, Hungary. Day session, 0300 GMT, 1400 AEDT. 3 Coco Gauff, US. The Hailey Baptiste, US. Night session, 0800 GMT, 1900 AEDT. 12 Elena Svitolina, Ukraine. The 23 Diana Schneider, Russia. 10 Alexander Bublik, Kazakhstan. The Thomas Martin Echeverry, Argentina. John Cain Arena. Day session, 0000 GMT, 1100 AEDT. 17 Victoria Mboko, Canada. The 14 Clara Torsen, Denmark. 19 Tommy Paul, US. The 14 Alejandro Davidovic Fokina, Spain. Night session, 0600 GMT, 1700 AEDT. 29 Eva Jovic, US. The 7 Jasmine Paolini, Italy. Night session, 0730 GMT, 1830 AEDT. 3 Alexander Zverev, Germany. The 26 Cam Norrie, Britain. Reuters. Under the bright lights of Rod Laver Arena, where every serve echoes like a heartbeat and every rally feels like fate, Alex de Minaur stands poised on the threshold of another defining chapter in his career. The roar of the home crowd, the shudder of expectation, and the pressure of a Grand Slam third round converge into a singular moment, his impending duel with Frances Tiafoe, a battle Minaur openly described as an absolute battle. This isn't just another tennis match. It is a collision of styles, wills, and legacies, a confrontation that encapsulates who these athletes are, how they've grown, and how they fight when the stakes are highest. Tennis racket handball, the game before the game, setting the stage. At the 2026 Australian Open, the tennis world buzzed with anticipation. Men's and women's draws were filled with riveting matchups, yet few carried the intoxicating mix of tension and potential as this one. Minaur, Australia's own, had battled into the third round after a hard-fought four-set victory over Hamid Medjedovic. It wasn't pretty early on. He dropped the first set and had to strike deep within his reserves to pull through. As Minaur moved past Medjedovic, Tiafoe, the American powerhouse known affectionately as Big Foe, was also clinching victory in 4 sets against Francisco Comasana. Both men were entering the clash not as favorites to win the tournament, but as warriors conditioned by years on the tour and hungry to prove that they could go the distance in the sport's biggest crucibles. Locked in, Minaur's mindset. Minaur's preparation isn't merely physical, it's psychological. When asked about Tiafoe, he didn't mince words. He's super dangerous. He's playing well, got a lot of firepower. I wouldn't expect anything other than an absolute battle against him. This is the spirit of an athlete who understands the truth of elite tennis. Physical skill only takes you so far. On tennis's grandest stages, mental toughness, the ability to stay present, composed, and strategic under pressure, becomes the edge that separates winners from runners-up. Minaur's comment that Tiafoe seems to be locked in speaks not just to respect for his opponent, but also an acceptance of the challenge. This isn't a match he anticipates dominating, it's one he expects to fight for every point. And that expectation is part of how he prepares. Gold military medal #style clash, a warrior of grit versus a power gunner. Alex Minaur, the relentless returner. Minaur's tennis identity is rooted in defense, speed, and resilience. He's the player who can turn defense into attack within a heartbeat, who stretches points until opponents falter, and who makes the physically impossible look merely difficult. At the second round of the Open, after losing the first set, Minaur didn't panic. He adapted. His world-class return game and remarkable court coverage turned the match. He clawed back, set by set, to finish with authority. This ability to remain calm, patient, and persistent, even when not at his best, is part of what makes him a force on the hard courts of Melbourne. Frances Tiafoe, the explosive challenger. In contrast, Frances Tiafoe's game thrives on power and momentum. He brings fire to the court, hits with authority, and refuses to let a point end without testing every corner of the opponent's resolve. In Tiafoe's victory over Comasana, he showcased his raw aggression, athletic dynamism, and ability to dominate baseline exchanges when in rhythm. Off the court, Tiafoe is known for his big personality. His passions match his play, and he approaches big matches with an audacious,